As a cinematographer, I teamed up with my friend Dreydon Johnsen, the director of directors, to shoot a big movie together, at least big for us. You will also see the rest of the crew here and there. Without them, this wouldn't have happened. A big thank you to all of them as well. We will dive into cinematography and lighting aspect of the things from our 5 days overnight shoots at different locations. If you don't want to miss this special content, subscribe to my channel and let's get started. How did I shot a movie as a DP? Today we're gonna break down this scene in terms of lighting. Camera breakdown will be in the next episode. Let's start from the location. This is a beautiful medical facility that looks a little bit more sci-fi and futuristic in general. Unfortunately, here in this wide shot, we didn't show this location entirely with all of these nice things there. And I will explain why in a minute. The plan was to light background first using tubes for kinda add color contrast there. These tubes work as a motivation for other shots and give this scene completely sci-fi and futuristic feeling as well. What about these yellow lights nearby main entrance? We couldn't control them, couldn't cover them, and I think they still play a nice role in our whole scene here because of the color contrast that they provide. But what about foreground, car, people in the frame? And we tried to motivate these kind of key lights from the street lamp, but in the end of our frame we just see these background lights, bunch of different tubes, different color, and okay, let's go put the main F22C, for example, kind of overhead on the car a little bit and also on her sitting there in the car. But for him, when he's coming into the frame, we just set up another 300x through the grid cloth, just a side. If this is a car, we just wrap around light from this kind of side from the background, basically motivation from the background tubes, kind of play around like that. All right, we have a base. Then what I typically like to do is to light in space, and then when we move to close up, I just kind of bring lights a little bit closer to the object and put some different diffusion frames in terms of situation and make it softer. That's why we have this kind of nice wraparound on her face, and I'm still in my shadow side here, and we have all this nice leather jagged texture, hem split lighting, kind of on her nice things, yeah. And still keep in mind we're shooting all of these things in just a black Porsche. Around us it's just completely darkness, black clothes, all of this kind of scenario, and make this thing right is a little bit challenge. What could we have done better for this shot if we had an enormous amount of money? Let's imagine Hollywood scenario, nighttime scene, and they just bring the big condor leaf 20 by 20 grid cloth on there, or 12 by 12, or it's just a giant white box, and raise it up to the air. Yeah, it kind of create moon ambient light around whole location, and then we can see this location and see the texture more nice, see the reflection on the car, and kind of motivate from the moon basically, and establish our whole location and see everything nice, and then play with additional feel, additional accent, key light and stuff. So you can shoot whatever ISO you can go, 800, 3000, something like that. But in our scenario we have a limitation, we don't have a condor lift and stuff. And also another solution for that, it can be balloon lights with helium. Then you can just attach them to the ground and put in the air, and all of this stuff will give you maximum details in your kind of specific location and get rid of all of this kind of super black and just without any detailed information about the location sections. Now I'm thinking that the best way to establish this location is to put these two towers in the static shot. Move the camera backwards a bit and show them more of the location and less of them. This will make them smaller and the world appears more massive. We tried a shot with towers like you see here, but overall darkness and lack of basic detail there moves us towards cutting this version. But growth is a part of the process, and my recommendation, always look at what you can improve. She just started walk from the car towards the camera, and we have this kind of different lighting and shadows in play. And in the end of the shot we have her just a lid with nicely cyan lighting, just a little bit split. Also we have some backlight on her from just a street lamp, but it was obviously tungsten filming light. But here we have kind of different depth with the script and highlights the narrative in terms of story there, and enhance their difference between two characters. And I can't say too much, just trust me, it was intentional. And as you can see, she's just not front lit from the tubes, because we just turn off the tubes and set up 2x1 panel, same color, to kind of enhance the depth on her face and create more kind of light, shadow, all of this kind of standard checkerboard effects. I also want to point out the one little thing with lighting that I did throughout the whole movie. Do you see this shape on the ground? It's kind of like a light beam, narrow as possible on her when she just started going from the car towards the camera. I use this style a lot here to show how the lighting working in this typical world. Every single kind of movie has different unique way to showcase the light, the temperature, the warm, the cold, the different colors and stuff. And even, for example, Blade Runner has a tremendous amount of different practical, artificial things there in terms of lighting and kind of create the sci-fi world. We still in the real world with this movie, but we have some spice in terms of AI and technology there. And I would say I'd like to blend this together and give the audience some of the, I would say, uniqueness, maybe just a little bit artificial way to go with lighting, and give me some thoughts. Do you like that or not? And also we obviously will go further in the next episodes and discuss this more, and you will see this approach in different variety of the locations. In the next shot, when she turns around and look at the car without a driver, we have this kind of cyan lighting pumping through the everywhere. This was intentionally because we want to highlight a tech, highlight a kind of, she's stepping into AI world and blending them together, kind of create a focus on thoughts and new kind of motive to go further and investigate all of these kind of things there. The lighting was simple, we just did 2x1 panel on her, and background light stay the same. As I said before, you start with space, and then if you move to the close-up, you can make the light softer if you want, but you're just moving things around a little bit. You just create the thing before and then jumping into it and create different shots and deliver the nice quality result. The last shot of this sequence, as you can see, just packed with cyan color, and motivation for lighting is simple, same background tubes. We just put 2x1 LED panel on her and have this texture, all of this kind of scenario there, and still we on the shadow side to increase the depth. Yes, this kind of yellow thing is pop out too much, and ideally if we can dim it down a little bit, that would be a little bit better. But if you looking at the first shot of the sequence, or the first close-up between them conversation, this thing, and end of this sequence when she kind of have all the cyan on her, all the intention, all the kind of investigation begins, because we set up her for a journey. This kind of thing in terms of color design, we also will dive into this later, and lighting design in general. As you can see, we just give story support and moving forward in terms of color, emotion, and all of these things. It's gonna be a lot of videos about this movie, and if you want to support this channel, please give me super thanks down below, comment, subscribe, send this to a friend, and see ya in the next one.